Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. So I welcome us to this evening's class. So this is the third week in this 4 weeks journey, learning data analytics with Python. Today we'll be looking at a new topic, which is functions and modules in Python. Functions and modules in Python. So we'll be looking at two major different topics. So but we start by looking at functions. Then after that, we dive into modules in Python. And I would like to say this, that for those that are joining early, thank you very much. So it's actually good you come early to class like this, because there are some things that you will benefit by coming early. And for those that are coming late too, good that we have a recorded version of the video so they're able to go through again. So let me just go straight into the work of the day. So we start by looking at the meaning of functions, how we can define it, and how we can call it to make use of it. So then we now go to modules. So in Python, I'm reading my notes now. In Python, functions and modules are essential components of creating reusable, organized, and maintainable code. Now let's break it down. The concepts, and let us learn how we can make use of them. So we're starting with functions in Python. A function is a block of reusable code that performs a specific task. So functions allow you to break down your code into smaller and more manageable parts. Defining a function, like how do you define a function? What are the steps you need to you know pass through or take in defining a function? You define a function by using the word def. That's the keyword. Just like short form of define something. Okay, define a school, define a country. So def. So it's the keyword that we use in defining a function. And this keyword is followed by the function name. So after the def, what follows is what? The function name. After that, you have your parentheses, the open parentheses, the close parentheses, and you have a colon after the close parentheses. And inside the function, you can write the code that performs the task. I will explain better using a practical example, and that is going to give you a better understanding of what we are talking about. But don't forget, we need to define our function first. And after defining it, then we cannot call it to make use of it. These are the two major things we need to do in make use of it. But in writing it, there are things that you need to know. I will repeat it again for better understanding. How do you define a function? You define it by using def keyword, def, that is define, to define something. So this def keyword is to define a function. Look at this code that we have on the screen here. Def greet, then open parenthesis, close parenthesis, your column, and inside this parenthesis, which is our parameter, we have name. I will explain this one after the other. The def, that is to define, is what is a keyword to define a function. Then the greet that we have there is the name of the function that we are trying to define. You can put any name there, just like the way we were taught by Mr. Shedrack then how to, you know, assign value to variable. You can use any name for your variable. Just that we have guidelines in doing it, and you were given the guidelines then. So the same thing with this. After the DEF that you want to define, then what we have next is the name you are giving to your function, just like you giving a name to a variable. So after the name, we have a open parenthesis. Don't call it comma, don't call it brackets. Don't call it open bracket. No, 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 no. You are not doing mathematics now. So open parenthesis and close parenthesis. And inside this parenthesis, we have the parameter that the function is going to take. Here now we are using name as the parameter that is going to take. Then after the close parenthesis, we have your colon. These steps are very important. Note all these things. They are very important in defining it. So then you can say print hello name for me. What we've done here is just to define the function. So after defining it, the next thing is to call it. Mind you, you can do the defining and the calling in the same in the same code line, like in the same place like this. I only splitted it so that we can have better understanding of what we are learning. It's not a must that you must do it differently. No, 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 it's not a must. You can do it together and you still get the answer that you want. It will give you the results that you want from it. Now we've defined our function. Now let's look at calling the function now that I want to make use of it. So calling a function. Once the function is defined, you can call it using its name and passing the appropriate argument. I mean, the parameters there. Now, let's look at this. We define this function greet, and the parameter there is name. Now, I want to print it out. To print hello, hello, then the name that we want this person to be. Maybe it's John now. Hello, John. Maybe it's Tade. Hello, Tade. Maybe it's Godwin. Hello, Godwin. After defining it, we can now call the function to make use of it. The name of the function is what? Don't forget, greet. So you put the name here, greet. That's the name of the function. Your open parenthesis, your close parenthesis, your quotation, because what we are putting there is a string. So we have our quotation. You've been taught that when you are quoting when you are using quotes, it can either be a single quote or double quote. But mind you, if you are starting with a single quote, then you must end it with a single quote. If you are starting with a double quote, you must end it with a double quote. Don't mix don't mix the quotes. Maybe you start with single, you're now ending it with double. You are going to have error with that. So let's continue. So we have Alice here. If you run this, all right, let me run it again. You run this, perfect. You come here to run this. You have hello, Alice. If you change the name you have here to anything, let me change the name to something like John, something like John, and you run it. Okay, I think we are having mine is loading. Hello, John. Yeah, you have hello, John. So that is how to define and how to call your function. You've defined it. After defining it, you call it to make use of it. Let's go to the second one. Function does not deals with string alone. It helps in running different calculations too. Different calculations. Look at this. Look at this. Returning values from function. Returning values from functions. Functions can return values using the return keyword. So functions can return values to us using what? The return keyword. This allows the function to send back a result to the caller. All right, let me explain using this code. You by now you know the meaning of def already. Def, define, to define something. So this define, def, then add, which is add, is our variable, is our function name. You can use any name here. So we are using add because we want to add numbers together. So we have our open parenthesis, close parenthesis, and there in our argument, our parameters here, we have a, then we have b. We have two parameters now. We have a comma b in our column. Then return, and we are saying that okay, this add, this function that we are creating, that we are defining, this function that we are creating, that we are defining, we want it to return to us as adding a and b for us. Return a plus b. Return it for us, adding our two parameters. The first parameter is a. The second parameter is what? B. Return it by adding them together for us. We have a plus b. Now, result equal to, this result is a variable. So just a variable name. Result equal to add. This add is the add that we have defined. We've defined it here. ADD, we've defined it. Add, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, 5,3. That is A and B. And we've defined it that the system should return A plus B, that is 5 plus 3. Now, print results. If we should run this result, run this now, we are going to get 8. If I should change this value, maybe 3, let me change it to something like 4 and run it. We are going to get what? 9 already. Because we've said, we've instructed the computer to return the result to us by adding our two parameters together, add A and B. Now, let me change where we have plus. Let me change it to minus. And let's check the result we are going to have. No, we have minus now. You get, that is returned to us by subtracting parameter B from parameter A. Now, let me run the results. If you are still going to have 9, or we are going to have 5 minus 4, we know now. Result is 1. Because I've said return it for me as 5, as A minus B, which is what? 5 minus 4. And we're having what? 1. So I believe that is well understood. Let's go to the next one. If you have any question or questions, you can note them down. Note them down. So, and during the time for questions, you are free to ask, then I will attend to it. So let's look at default argument. You can provide default values for function parameters, which will be used if no argument is passed for those parameters. Let's look at the code we have here to explain it. Def, which is to define, is what? To define. You know that already. Greet is the function name, the name we've given to our function we are trying to create. So then open parenthesis, close parenthesis, the column. You are familiar with this already. You are familiar with this already. So name equal to guest. Now, what we are trying to do here is that we are trying to create a default setting for this code. There are times you buy when you have maybe your phone, maybe you just okay. Let me look for a good example for your phone, for example. Now you can change some settings from your phone, and when you bought the phone will be in default settings. You can be like, okay, I don't like this, let me change it to this. Maybe even ringtone, maybe call ringtone. The phone is going to come with kind of default setting that when you receive a call, this should be the song that it will play for you. But if you don't want it, you can change it. So we are trying to set a default settings like, okay, if we don't pass any any value to this parameter here, parameter which is name, then print guest for us. But if you don't want guest, if you actually put something, put a value for name, then you print that value out for us. All right, let's go. Def grades name equals to guest, then the column, print hello, the name. Now look at this first one. Greet, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, empty. We have empty value. We do not we refuse to pass any value to this parameter. If we should print it, it's going to print for us hello guest, because by default we have set it by default. If we do not pass any value to this argument, to this parameter, print guest for us. But if we pass value to it, then print that value. Here now we have Bob. See the answer, hello Bob. But here that we have empty, it printed what? Hello guest. Because we have set it that by default, print guest for us. By default, print guest for us. Now let's go to the next one. Keyword argument. Keyword argument. So let's look at what the notes we have here. You can pass argument by name, which makes the function call more readable and avoid confusion about the order of argument. That is, you can when you are trying to pass your when you are trying to define your function, the argument, all the parameters that will be there, you can actually arrange them the way you want to make it more readable and to avoid confusion or problems or making your data looking kind of odd. So let's look at this. Def grid, that is, we've defined this function and we name the function greet. Now we have name and message. Just like we are having two parameters now, not a single parameter. Before we've been having name, but here we have name, comma, message, which means we're having two parameters. Two parameters. Now print message and name, which means we have arranged it that the first thing you are going to print for us is the message before you print the name. As whatever value we are assigning to message should be the first thing you are going to print before you now print the value we are assigning to name. That's what this place is just telling us. So and look at it here. Greet, name equal to Charlie, message equal to good morning. Though we have Charlie before good morning, like we have name before message, but in as much we have arranged it here in our print that print message first before you print name. Print the value passed to this argument first, to this parameter first, before you print the value that is assigned to name as an argument or as a parameter. If you run this, you're going to have good morning, Charlie, because the message first, then the name. Because we arrange it to make it more readable and to avoid confusion. These are very important. So let's look at the next one. The next one we have here is arbitrary argument. Arbitrary argument. If you don't know how many arguments will be passed to a function, like you don't know the number of arguments that you're going to pass to your function, you can use args for a tuple of positional arguments or quarks for a dictionary of keyword arguments. Look at what we have here. Look at this code. Before okay, for example, the first example I gave you, we have def, greet, then name. And we were able to assign only one value to the name. Maybe it's John or Alice, Bob, Charlie. The other ones, the last one we did was this where we're having two arguments, name and message. Here now, we have only one parameter, only one argument. But there is something attached to it. This asterisk, make it different from what we've been doing since. The ones we've been handling, we've been dealing with, we've not been having anything like asterisk. But here we have an asterisk with it, which shows that it's kind of different from what we've been doing. So let's look at the major difference between them, and that will give a better understanding. Now, when we use this, when you don't know how many arguments will be passed to a function. Now, def, greet, asterisk, names, open parentheses, close parentheses, your colon. These are very important. Now we are using so for name in names, you can see that topics in Python are kind of interwoven. They are linked to one to another. This is why it's very important you don't miss a class, because when you miss a class, the next class can start giving you problem or headache. Mr. Shodak was teaching you about this in the last class. So for name in names, a column again, print hello name. That is the argument we are going to pass to the name. So the value we are going to pass to this argument that we called name. Print it for us. Now you can put as many names you want here, in as much you've put the asterisk here. So you can put 1, you can put 2, you can put 3, you can put 4, you can put 10, you can put, because you've designed it in a such a way that you can put as many as possible. Now greet Alice, Bob, Charlie. If you run this code, you are going to have this result. Hello Alice, hello Bob, hello Charlie. Because this asterisk we allow it to go through the value you are putting here, go through them and be giving you results one after the other, results up one after the other, results one after the other. It's as simple as that. Functions in Python. The next one we'll be looking at is modules in Python. But before we go into modules in Python, I would like to take questions from anyone so that we will not just be jumping. So if you have questions in this first part that we've done, you can actually, let me know. Mr. Shidrak.
Carry
Okay.
on, carry on.
Okay, all right, sir. I've sent the message. Thank you, sir. All right, so let's go to modules in Python. Then we can just have our questions together towards the end
No,
of the
no,
class. Then
you can take in questions for the functions
okay,
when
to
we
take a
move to
question.
module.
Okay. Okay, all right. Yeah, anyone having questions? Okay, I think I have firstborn raising his hand. or her hand. So firstborn, you can unmute your mic and ask your question, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
So the issue I'm having is I ran the code like according to what you code you put in your system, and it's not showing me any error. Neither is it showing me any results. Hello, hello,
We can hear you. Can you drop the code on the
hello.
group chat? Drop the code on the group chat.
Okay, sir. No problem.
Mr. Kingsley, what's your question?
Oh, please, I can't hear firstborn. I lost my connection.
Okay, no problem. She said she did the code, but it's not giving her errors or results. So I told her to put it on the group chat so you can see what she has.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah. So first one, we are still waiting for you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening.
So, sir, I just have a little issue. My code is working. Just I'm observing that in your results you're having spacing like the good morning Charlie. There was space between the comma and the Charlie, but I'm just trying to compare the codes. I'm not having that spacing in mind. So that's what my only
Okay,
issue there. Mm.
Include
Charlie.
the space in your print. The space is on inside the print. We told you how to do
Yeah,
this before. So include the space in your
yeah,
print.
yeah. Yeah, sure. So you
First
can
one, we're still
mute
waiting for your code. Is first one still on the call with us?
I think he's having his
Yes,
mic
sir. I'm
muted.
about sending it.
Me
Okay.
is still eating time, so we'll continue. So the attendance has been posted on the group chat. Please do where to fill it and also pinned. Mr. Moses, carry on with your
Yes.
class. When she's ready, we'll attend to her question.
Okay, all right, sir. All right, sir. All right. Let's continue. Let's go to the second part of the class. Like I've said earlier, we'll be looking at functions and modules. So we are through with the part of functions, and now we can now go into modules. So a module is a file containing Python definition and statement. A module can define functions, classes, and variables that can be reused across different programs. Now, let's look at how to import modules. And before we go into that, let me just say this, that these modules, they are just like, um, we've talked about functions today. And there's a good example of function we make use of. Let me just use this as example. See this having def add a and b, return a minus b, result equals to add 5 and 4. So we got 1 because we're having minus. So something like this, some people they've worked on Python, and they've created different modules in programming. These modules, when we need them, we don't need to start creating another one, stressing ourselves doing long work. So all we need to do is just import modules, those modules, and make use of them. We have a lot of modules in Python. I'm just going to talk about the common ones that you need to know in your uh in you working with data sets. So but we have more than this in Python. That's what we need to know. And it helps us in working with Python, making our work kind of faster. They are inbuilt module. So today we'll be talking about how to make use of inbuilt modules in Python. So you can use the word input. Import. Import is the keyword to bring module into your program. Before you can make use of a module, you have to import it. So then after importing it, then you can now make use of it. So we are going to be looking at various like few examples this evening. So let's start by working around random. So random as a module. This module generates random of numbers for various distributions. Don't mind my spelling. So this module generates random of numbers or random numbers for various distributions. As I'm working on this, I will advise that you run it through so that if you have error or any complaints or any questions, you'll be able to ask. Don't just make it theoretical, make it practical. So it's not about in programming, you've learned nothing if you are just reading and watching videos. You have to get your hands dirty with work. So that will help you in knowing maybe you're actually getting it or not. So, like I've said, you are going to start by importing it. So import random. So after importing random, you can now say print random dot rand int. This is where we have rand int is that you've been taught about data types. So we have integer, float, date, boolean, among others. So int means give me random numbers and let the number be integer. You get. So random is the module name that we imported. Import random. So you have the same random here. Print random dot rand int. That is the number you are giving me. You are giving me. Let the number be an integer. So dot rand int. Open parenthesis 1 comma 10 close parenthesis, then the second close parenthesis that is going to work with the first open parenthesis that we have here. If you do not close all the brackets, all the parentheses you have opened, it will not work. We have error. These are the little things you need to take note of when you are working with Python. So if you should run this now, it's going to print a number for you, and that number will be from 1 to 10. Will be from 1 to 10. It cannot print 11 for you. It can't print 12 for you. It can't print 100 for you because you've put a gauge to it. 1 and 10. 1 comma 10. Now let's run it. Now we have 4. If you run it again, it's possibly going to print the same number or print another number for you. It's not a must that you must print it and be getting the same number. If you run this from your own end, you might not get 4. Possibly you can have something like 6 or 8 or 10 or whatever. And if you still run it, if you run this again, there's possibility of having a different number. Let me run it again. Now I'm having 1. If I run it again, it can still give me another number again because I said just pick random number for me. Pick any random number. But the demarcation is that between 1 from 1 to 10. From 1 to 10. You can pick any number for you. Let me run it again. Now I'm having 8. So let's leave that. Go to the second one. Random dot random. Mind you, I've imported random here. So I can start making use of it. I don't need to import it again. Import. No, 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 no. I don't need that again. I don't need that again. So I just say random dot random, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. What is the difference between this second one and the first one? Here I put int, showing that I want integer. I want an integer. But here, I just said random dot random. At least pick any random number for me. Any random number. Now I have a float here, 0.90189, like that. I can run it again. I have another number. It's giving me float. Float, float, float. So if you want integer, you must specify that you want it to be an integer. So I think that explains that. Let's go to this. We are still working with random. Now, this is a variable, fruit, as a variable name. We all know this already. So now, fruit equal to apple, banana, cherry. Apple, banana, cherry. Now, random dot choice, then fruit. That is, pick randomly. Pick randomly for us. Pick randomly for us. We've created this variable. Now, from this variable, pick randomly. Maybe it's apple you are printing, or banana, or cherry. When I ran my own code, it gave me apple. You can run your own and be having banana. You can run your own and be having cherry. But let me try. If you run it again, it can pick the same item for you or give you another item. Let me run this again on my own from this end. I'm going to run it again. Now I'm having another different fruit entirely. If I should run it again, I have banana now because the module name is what? Random. Just pick anything at random for me. Just like you playing a game with someone, saying, okay, oh, let's run this thing. Okay, okay, I pick that it's going to bring apple. Okay, it's going to bring banana. But that person can say, okay, no, it's not bring banana, it's going to bring a cherry. Okay, let's run it. And you run it. And when you run it, okay, what's going to bring? Okay, having apple. Oh, this person won. It's apple. That's just random numbers, random strings that can give to you. So let's go to the next one. Another module that we have here is maths. So mathematics. So because it's actually a mathematical module. It helps in it's having mathematical functions. It helps in solving mathematical problems. Now this module gives developers access to the mathematical functions. It works with different mathematical functions to solve mathematical problems. Now let's look into let's the first thing, like I've said, is for us to import it. The first thing we are going to do is that we import it. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah, the first thing we do is to import it. Now import math as m. Import math as m. Mind you, before when I was talking about random here, I just said import random. You can decide to put import random as r, import random as m, whatever you want to use to. But when you want to make use of that module, you don't use random again. You just, since you've imported as import random as m, what you are going to call is what? M, and it will work for you. So let's go back to this. Import math as m. Now you can say print m dot square root. This sqrt means square root, square root. And you will agree with me that the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 16 is 4. So the same thing applies. So the same thing is working out here. Print m, which is math. We've assigned math to m. Like, okay, oh, whenever we need math now as a module, what we are going to call on is what? M. So print m dot square root, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, 16. That is, look for the square root of 16 for us. And when I run this, I'll be having 4, because the square root of 16 is what? Is 4. The square root of 16 is 4. Now, if you run it from your own end, you are going to get the same thing. This is not random now that you're getting 4, 6, 3, 8. No. Square root of 16 is always 16 every time. In the morning, in the afternoon, anytime at night, in the midnight. Square root of 16 is always 4. Now let's go to the next one. In this next one, we are still dealing with math. So print, okay, I'm coming. Print math dot stand 0.23. Now here, I'm having error. I'm having error here. So in a comment section, please, I want us to, oh, I know you guys know what the error is. Just comment what you think is bringing this error. Just comment. Why am I having error here? Why am I having error here? Print math dot stand. What I want to do, I want to use Python to know the value of tan 0.23. Why am I having error? I'm expecting our messages though. Why am I having error? You can drop it. Yeah, thank you, firstborn. Firstborn, thank you. Math is not defined, and we didn't import math. We imported math now. We imported math. Yes, yes, we imported. Yeah, you guys, you have the idea of what we are doing. Okay, okay. Math is not defined, yes. So someone said we didn't define math, rather we defined M. Someone said math is not defined. We imported M, not math. Okay, math is not defined. You guys have the idea of what the problem is, just that you've not given me the way I want it. Yes, thank you, Flora. Flora, thank you. And Ejio Mafue Raphael, thank you. We defined math as M. Yes, we defined math as M. So math is now replaced with M. Yes, you guys are correct. Thank you, thank you. I love that. Love that. I love that. You are with me. So, and others too, you have the idea of what the problem is. So just that you didn't give it to me in the right way. Yeah, you have the idea, you are getting it. So we've imported math as M. When I was preparing my notes, I decided to use this method because I remembered. Let me just say this within 1 second. I remember then when I was learning Python too for data analytics. Mr. Shedrack was one of my instructors, my tutors then. And whenever he want to teach us, whenever he wanted to teach us, he will come to class with wrong code and ask us to look for solution to it. He knows the right thing, but he wants us, okay, what is wrong here? We now start looking. Oh, this is the problem. Hey, this is the problem. Later, okay, people should calm down. This is the problem. This is the way out. And it really helped every one of us then to know what it's all about. So, so when I was preparing my notes, it just came to my brain. Oh, let me use this my orgasm method to cause problem in the class today. So print math dot stand 0.23. So now we are not using math again. What we are using is what? M. So let me remove the ATH. ATH. and let me run it now. If it's going to work. If it's not working, we look for another way out again. Yeah, now it's working. It's working. M dot tan 0.23. So this is the value of tan 0.23. But let's assume we only said import math. This place that we're having we would have been putting what math there. But because we have imported our math as m, so we'll be using m. Please, like I've said, all these topics we are teaching you, they are connected to one another, one to another. By the time we go to the next class, you are going to meet something like this. That has to do with you importing something as something, importing this as this, import this as this. So you are not going to use the value of what you imported again. You are going to use the value you have assigned to it. Please note this. Note this. Very important. Now let's go to the next one. Now we have m dot pow 2,4. M stands for maths. Like I've said earlier, it stands for maths. So the power is talking about raised to power. And what this is telling us is that 2 raised to power 4. 2 raised to power 4, which means 2 times 2, which is 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 2, 16. So it's giving us what? 16. If you run it again, you are still going to have 16. But we decide to change it from 4 here. We change something like 3. Let's run it and check the value we are going to have. We are having 8, which means what? 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. It's as simple as that. So when we're talking about operators, then I think we made mention of this a bit. Yeah, I remember. So now let's look at the next one. M dot floor. M dot floor. The M stands for mathematics, like maths stands for math as a module. Dot floor. And I think I've made mention of what we use floor to do. Yeah, I made mention of what we use floor to do. In our comment section, if you use floor, what will it give you? If you run floor, what will it give you? You can comment no, please. Please remain muted, please. You can comment. Okay, it gives the divide, the divided, divided. Yes, and not, thank you, firstborn. It gives divided and not the remainder. Yes, okay. So can we reduce to at least 2 decimal places? Yes, you can round it up to the decimal places that you want. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Kingsley. Yeah. So when you run floor, it's going to give you the 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 whole number, not the other, like not no, it won't give you decimal numbers, just only the whole number. So that is that about that. So let's go to the next one. X equals to ABS. This ABS stands for absolute. You can already see there. Return the absolute value of the argument. And what we mean by absolute is that if it's having negative sign, remove that negative sign for us. For example, now we have minus 7.25. If we run this now, it's going to give us 7.25 because we've used the word ABS. Remove what? Remove the negative for us. Let me run it. Yeah, 7.25. Absolute. So let's go to the next one. The next one I'll be talking about is date time. Date time. Date time. Date time. So date time is one of the modules that we have in Python, and when you need it, all you need to do is to import it. All you need to do is to import it. Now you start by saying, let me make this bigger. It's not too big here. Okay, you can see better now. So import date time. Date time is the name of the module. Import date time as DT. You can decide not to use DT in your own. But if you're not using DT in your own, that means this place that I'm using DT, you'll be using date time. So to avoid that kind of long work, though we are still going to get the same results. Yeah, we get the same results. But to avoid that kind of long work and to do your work in a way that will show that you're a professional. So import date time as DT. Type this code and run it along with me so that when you're having problems or a problem, we will know. Then we solve it together. Import date time as DT. Now I want to check today's date now. Date today is a variable name. You get date today is a variable name equal to DT. DT is the module we have imported because we said date time as DT. So DT is the module we have imported. So DT dot date dot today. So that is from the date time, which is the module, bring for us today's date. That is date dot to today. Not only that, this is another variable that I created here. I named this one time now. I want to know the time that we have now. So equal to dt, which is the module we've imported, dot date time dot now. That is, I want the the dates of now and the time of this present moment that we are. Give me the dates and the time that we are. I want it. So now print date today. That is, print this variable for me. Then print time now. Print this second variable too. Print it for me. If you run it, we are going to have today's date and the system time, the time we are having now. Let me run it. So today's is 24 11. 11 is November. Then 13. Today is 13. Today is 13. So 13 11 2024. If you run it from your side, we are going to be having the same results. And print time now. Time now. You can see the date and the time. The time is 20, which is 8 o'clock, 8:06, 8:06:51. If you check your time, you are going to have the same time. If you run it again, it will be updated to the present time that you are. Run it again to be updated the second time, the system time that you're having on your system now. I want to believe we're having the same thing. Let's go to the next one. Let's assume you want to print only the year. You don't want the whole date. You want just the year to be printed out for you. What we need to do is to just say that, sorry, okay. What we need to do is just say that x is the variable name now, equal to dt, which is the date time we have imported, dot date time dot now, dot date time dot now. At this present date that we are. That's a print x. X is the variable name, and we've assigned this present date and time that we are now. We've assigned it to x. We have it inside x. That's a print x dot year. That is, print only the year for us. Don't print months, don't print the day, don't print the time. We want just only the year. So and we have it there. Print year. If you run it, you're going to have what 2024. Just 2024 will come out for us because we only want for the what? For the year. Now let's move ahead. X equal to x equal to dt. X is the variable name. X is the variable name. dt is the module that we imported because we've imported datetime as dt. So dt dot datetime, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Like we are trying to set the format. So okay, this is the date we are putting. We are assigning this date to what to x. We are doing what assigning this. This one is not printing this present date for us. No, we are the one assigning, like putting dates to it. So and the dates we want is what 2018 6, which is the month of June. Then like on the 1st of June 2018, this is 2018 6/1. We are assigning this in date format. In date format. So to x as a variable name. As a variable name. Now print x dot string time. What we actually want to do here is that we want it to print only the middle number for us. This the middle number, which is what, which is our month. Because the sixth month in the year is June. January, February, March, April, May, June. Print it for us. And print it for us in form of string, form of text. Want in form of text, not the number that we've inputted. That's the meaning of str. Print for us in form of string. We want text. If you run this, we are going to have June. If you change this 6 here to something like let's like 7, 7 is not June again. 7 is July. So it's going to change to what? To July. So now let's work with calendar now. Calendar. This calendar, I've said it, this module, we are not the one creating this module. They are Python module. They are inbuilt module already. We are just trying to, all we do is just to import them and make use of them. Now, import calendar. Now, I'm not using import calendar as anything. I just said import calendar. You can decide to use import calendar as okay, let me do it now. Import calendar as what can let's just suggest anything as cal. Okay. Now we've imported calendar as cal. Now I want to try to print November calendar. This is the variable name, November calendar, equal to calendar.month, because we are printing, calendar is actually meant for like different years, 2001, 2002, different years that we have. Then we want to print for a month. So you have dot month. So and the month we are printing for will be from year 2024, and we are printing for the month of November. November is the 11th month. Now we've assigned this to this variable name, nov underscore card at this November calendar. Now print this variable for us. If I run this, I'm going to have error. I'm going to have error if I run this. Yeah, and now I'm going to have error. So who can tell us what the error is? Let me just hear from us from the chat box. Can we suggest what the error is? If you have the idea of why we are having error in this code, just tell us. Okay. First, we define calendar as cal. So in line 2, we ought to call it cal, not calendar. Okay, okay. Thank you, firstborn. Thank you, favor, ofure. Yeah, yeah. So that's the challenge, that's the problem. I've imported calendar. I think the same error we're having that time. So the same error we're having now. So we've imported it as cal. Now I'm now calling it as calendar again. So it's not possible. It's like me calling. It's like naming a child, naming a child John. Now calling you are now trying to call the child Paul. That will not give you the response you want. So which means you have to change this calendar to what card, and it's going to work for us. Yes. And now we have um the calendar. We have the calendar for the month of November. It's actually not a must that you must do it for the current month that we are. No. If you decide to do it for 2025, that is even next year, you will still have the results. You can see that I've changed my own to 2025 now for the month of November to still give you correct results. Because that's programming. Still give you the correct results. So let me run this now. Let me run this. You can see the results. So this is the calendar for November 2025. So if you want for 2030, 2040, 20 whatever, it will give you the results immediately. Import calendar as cal, then November calendar equals to cal.month 2025, 11, print November calendar, and you have your results straightforward. So all these are the few,
Is
the
there light?
few.
Is there
Please
light?
unmute yourself, please.
Why is there light outside?
Who is this
Okay,
person
let's turn off.
disturbing us? Mohammed, please unmute yourself, please. Mohammed, please. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'm coming. I'm coming. Let me just go to my. All right. So let me just do a brief recap. Then we are going to give room for questions and answers because I tried to walk around the time so that we don't spend much of our time today. So we'll talk about module, and the module, like I've said, yes, there's one more thing I need to chip in. Okay, I'm coming. Let me just do this first. Math. So we started from random. So how you can use random to generate different integers, different names, different numbers. And from there we jump to random, where you are not specifying that you actually want an integer. So you only want any, and just pick any number for me. So here we have values assigned to a variable, random dot choice, that just pick any fruit for us randomly. And when you run it, you'll be having different fruit being picked at different times that you are running it. So then we have math. Like I've said, that math has to do with mathematical functions. helping us to solving it. Where we did the square root of 16, where then we talk about tan. Not only tan, we have log, we have cosine, we have what again? We have sine. So different thing that can work with, not that only tan. So just that only pick tan. So I'm expecting you to work more than what you are getting from the class. Don't just say, oh, we are taught only tan. Now let me sit down with tan. No, 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 no. Do more than this. Do more than this. So, and we have power, talking about raised to power. We have floor, returning only the whole number to us. We have absolute, that's removing the negative number. Then from there, we jump to date time, where we were able to know the today's date, even the time that we are presently, using your system time. And where we talk about dates, trying to print only the year, dot year, printing only the year. So, and yeah, at the same time, we have where we can print only the month, and it's going to return it to us in form of string text. So, okay, we call it string in Python. Don't let me use the word text. We're not in an Excel class. So, string. So, and lastly, we talk about calendar, where we can print calendar using calendar as a module. So, there are a few things we're able to look at today. So, I will give room for questions and answer, so that we can just, and please, let's try to make the class an interesting one. So when just signify that you're having a question, and when you signify, you'll be called upon, and when you are called upon, just what we do is that, thank you, Augustine Kingsley. What you just do is that you unmute your mic and you ask your question, please, one after the other. So um thank you for those that are giving likes. Thank you. So I want to check those. Okay, we have like 4 people here. We have Firstborn, we have Michael, we have Emmanuel, and we have Mohammed. Yeah, yeah. So let me start from Emmanuel. Emmanuel Temilolua. I think I'm having you as first on the list here.
All right, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
My question is concerning this part you did, the date time importation, where you import date time as DT.
Okay, sir.
I tried running the code to like run only the time without the date. It was giving me error.
You try running the date, sorry, the time
Just the
without the
time.
date.
Yes.
Okay, let me go to my screen so that we can look at it together.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
this
that one.
place, this
Yes.
place. Okay. Okay, you want only the time to come. You don't
Yes.
want the date to show.
Yes.
Oh, I'm getting you now. One thing is that look at this, look at the code. DT dot date time dot now. Now what you did, if I'm getting, is that you remove the date, you now say DT dot time dot now, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm getting you. Because here we have date. Here we have date time. It shows that there's no way you want to have a time without you having a date. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Because if I should delete my own now and run it, I'm going to have the error the same. I'm coming. Give me a minute. I see having the same thing now.
Yes.
So the error is not coming from your own. Sorry. Error is not coming from your own end. That's how it works. You can see date time, depending on what you are working with.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So have I settled that?
Like what I want to know is there any way for the time to come out alone, or it has to come with the date?
To the best of my knowledge, it has to come with the date.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Let me add to the answer now. If
Okay,
I
sir.
ask you, give me the time for next year, 2024. How will you get it? November next year, 2024. How will you get the time?
Okay, I have to like know which date exactly.
Thank you very much. So you have to know the date first before you could get the time. So also programming works with an actual date. That's when you can get an actual time, because you can't tell it to give you the time of the date you have not seen, but the date that has not happened yet. So you can get only the time and date of a past or present event currently. You get me? That's what
Yes,
that's
sir.
what date time you are saying. Date time dot now is. So get me today's date, and with today's date, get me the time we are actually in. That's why you see the date time. So there's no way method called dot time that you can use.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Right.
All right. So I think I have Michael Fortune followed, right? Michael Fortune, you can ask your
Yes,
question.
good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Still on the dt.daytime.now.
Okay.
My own confusion was that, after we start from beginning, import date time as dt, then
Yes.
date today equals dt.date.today parentheses. Now, time now equals dt.datetime dot now. I was thinking we've already declared date time as dt. How is it that we are still now stating date time under the variable time now, and it's still possible to run without an error?
Okay. If I'm getting your question very straight, you said we've imported datetime as DT,
Mm-hmm.
and now under this time now,
Yes.
uh, this way that I just highlighted now.
Yes.
I'm repeating date time
That's
again.
date time again. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. The date. Okay. Let's assume we did not
So,
even use date.
Mr. Moses, sorry,
Yes, sir.
sorry, sorry. You know what we should do? Remove the dt dot and run date time dot now. Let him see what will happen. Yes, do that for him. Remove
Okay.
the
Okay.
dt and just run date time now. Let him see what will happen.
Okay. I'll do that. We have an error.
What did you get?
Error.
Thank you. Now, that's why I told you, said daytime is not defined. You already declared daytime. You call it an alias as DT. So the program now only sees DT. You get me? The program now only
Okay.
sees what DT. So if you want to work with this, fine. You can just say, okay, daytime DT. You must call which module you want to get the method from. That's how it works. That's why you're calling DT, because daytime you are saying, is a
Mm-hmm.
module which has methods. So in order for you to call any method, because if you want to call date time, even date time now, you see date time dot date time dot now. That's how you're going to call it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say date time dot now. You must specify where you are getting the date time from. So that's why you see the date dt dot date time dot now, because dt is the module. Then inside dt, get me date time dot now. That's what you see when you are typing it. You can only see those values. You get me? Because if you are
Okay.
typing it, start calling the module again, you will see, get an issue.
Okay. So, but we can't. But it's not going to be possible to do like this one that he just typed now. This daytime now. Is it going to be
Okay,
possible?
okay. Remove the
Or
daytime. Remove the daytime, Mr. Moses. Remove the daytime for him. Just leave daytime dot now.
Okay. The one I just typed, I should remove it.
Yes. Remove, no. Remove the. You have already created the module daytime. So remove the first daytime for him.
I
The
don't
first
get
one.
what.
The way you remove DT, remove date time dots again and run
Okay,
it.
okay, okay,
Remove the dot. Remove the dot.
okay.
Remove the dot. Okay, run it for him.
I want to remove for the second one
No,
too.
okay, remove the second one and run it for him.
Is error.
Are you seeing the error now?
Mm-hmm.
So it's telling you, if you scroll down, Mr. Moses, it's telling you that scroll down, Mr. Moses, Z name error. The name date is not defined. You get me now?
Mm-hmm.
So put date time dot date. Then the second one, leave it as date time dot now for him as well. Because one thing I told you guys is that most of your questions, try practicing it and see. It's all about logic. When you think about something, try it. If it doesn't work, then you look for why it didn't work and ways to make it work. So run it again, Mr. Moses. Let's see.
Okay, I'm coming. I'm trying to. So we are still having error.
Now you see you are getting another error on the date time. So it's you did not, that's why I tell you
Yeah.
that module date time has no attribute now. So you must call, when you're calling a module. Don't because if you guys don't understand this, then we'll move to the next class. Trust me, you will have issues with this. Because when you declare a module, you are importing it from a place. You are importing this module from the library it was. Inside that module, there are methods. In order for you to use those methods, you must call the module name, add. That's how it works. Can't just say because you declared you called a mode, you called date time, you just want to work. What about the method, that the attributes that is there? You want to call the attributes. So that's why you're seeing this error. If you're removing the datetime, you are doing datetime dot now. Datetime does not have dot now. It must call the function that has the dot now. You get me? That's why you're saying datetime dot now. So in order for he told you, in order for you not to use this long date time, he shortened it as use an alias DT. So you see DT time dot now. DT is not the new name which Python or compiler recognize date time. That's why you must call the module, put a dot, add an extension of the method you want to call, which is date time. Then you put the time you want, either that is now. That's why you are putting it like that. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So you can carry on with the next person, Mr. Moses.
All right. Thank you, sir. So we have firstborn. Let's have your question, please.
Okay, sir. First of all, I've sent the screenshot on the group. What
Okay.
Mr. Shedrack said I should send.
Okay.
And the last person asked one of my questions. So the other question I have is from that import calendar, the last example you did.
Okay. Let me go there.
So I want to ask, okay. I want to ask because I noticed from the line 2, we had 2024, then 11. And we have like a range, something that can give us probably from January to maybe June, from January to December.
Okay. That will be more. That is be more than one month, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Let me allow my boss to answer that one. Mr. Shedrack.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, so you can get the calendars for the complete year. All he did was he specified this. Okay, we together. Okay, so like I said, it's practice. So Mr. Moses, what you are going to do for me is remove the 11 and
Okay,
remove the
sir.
comma and run it. Let's see what will come out. Because remove the 11, remove the comma and run it.
Okay. I
Okay, you're
have
using the
error.
sorry, you're using the
Okay.
month.
No,
Okay,
I put
now
months. I
what
put months.
yes, what month? Remove the month and put
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, put, sorry guys, I won't be speaking. I am under the weather. That's why I say I'm not responding.
Okay.
No, it's not here. It's not here. Not
The
here.
calendar has no attribute to yeah. I'm coming.
It's not here. It's not here.
Okay, where I'm having here is Mr. Shadrach with me. Firstborn, are you still with me, firstborn?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, yeah. Look at what we're having here. It's telling us that Moodle calendar has no attributes here. Like, because all this module, calendar module, after calling the calendar, you call the attribute that's going to work with. The same thing we're having here that time about this DT something. That DT is the module. After calling the module, you call the attribute that is working with. So the same thing here, calendar
Sorry,
dot here. Okay.
all right. So, sorry, I just have terrible cough, so I have to mute myself. Now,
So
as I was saying, if you are calling the calendar, to answer first most questions, all you have to do is you include these modules inside your function. So what you are doing is you are importing the calendar. You are going to declare a function that will print all this calendar. Then you will use the for loop to specify a range. So when you have specified the range, don't forget that when you're using range, it starts from the beginning and ends at before the number you put. So you put a range 1, 13 on the for loop that will be under your function. So when you now call the function, you now say, okay, maybe year.int print, you now put the year. Please put your year you want. It's going to call the year you want, maybe for the whole year. I don't know if you can try it. Let's do it. Let's do it, Mr. Moses. Let's do it and answer the question. Just create a new cell.
Yes,
Let's
please,
do
let's
it
do
for
it.
that. Let's do it for so
okay,
that.
a new code, right?
Yeah, a new code block.
Okay.
Revert this is your code, this is your method. Revert it back to its original format so that the error won't disrupt our code. Just revert it, put it month and your normal thing.
Okay, I'm coming.
All right, so go to the new code. Now we've already imported calendar as car, so we are not going to import it again. So let's declare a function. All right, so let's declare a function and call it print year calendar or print calendar or year calendar. Year underscore calendar. So let's give it a parameter year.
Okay, I'm coming.
Now, continue, please. Now, are we together?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir, we're
So
with you.
remove the return. I don't need the return. Good. So the next thing I'm going to write now is this. There can be a print, but I want you to put a for statement. So you said for month in range. Remove that line. This line of car.calendar. Remove it. You don't need it yet.
I'm coming.
So for month in range 1, 13, print
Yeah.
calendar.month year, month.
Yeah.
Then it's closed. Then that's all. So you can decide to put a return function. If it doesn't work, put a return value. That's the essence of the return. If there's an error with your code, it's supposed to be a return value. But I don't want a return value, right? So enter next line. Let's call the function. Run this. Just run this first. Now you see it has run, Ari. Create a new
Yeah.
cell. Let's call it. Create a new block. So let's declare here. So here is equals to. So we can specify a direct here, or we can use an input. So let's use an input from the user. Enter here. Just tab, Control tab. Just tab, yes. Tenisys has given us. So run this one. I hope you are following firstborn. Run this.
Yes, sir. I'm with you.
Now
Yeah.
it tells you to put your year. So put the year you want. Put for
Okay.
2030 or let's say 20. When is the next election? Okay, 2027. Put 2027. Yes, click on enter. Now, are you seeing all the years? Are you seeing it now?
Wow.
Are you
Yes.
seeing the calendar for the year? So it's going to loop because of the range you specify. It's going to loop and reprint, loop and reprint, loop and reprint. Okay. So for somebody that might ask me why is there no return value? The return value is there. Should in case something happens with your code, it's going to give you a return. You can use the return value to return a statement if the code, when you're done with the code, return something. So if we include the return now, we can say, okay, the return value should be end of calendar. You can put it print end of calendar in the return value on the df function. But I did put it so that way you're not seeing anything, but your code will still work. So I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Right. So it just involves you practicing your research is like you said, your research is not limited to what you learned in class. You can do research, practice new lines of code, think of something like you talked about it now. Think about something and find ways around it. Then if you have any pending issue or any challenges, send it to the group chat. We are going to respond. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
So for your question, I asked you to put the code in the group. So the one I'm saying, I don't know which one you sent. You sent two pictures. I don't know which one was your question actually. Which one was your
The
question?
first one. The first one.
Yes.
Because around
Yes.
then there was no error and
Yes,
there
there
was
was no
just
error
nothing.
and there was nothing printed, right? Did you
Yes, there was
call your
nothing printed.
you didn't call your function now from your code? I know you're looking at your screen. I wish you could share your screen now, but let's correct it. Can you share your screen? Mr. Moses, stop
Yeah,
sharing
yes,
your
sir.
screen. First one, can you share your screen?
I will do that.
No, sir. I'm using my phone, but I'm on my
Oh, you're using your
system.
phone. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that was why I wanted to see that code. Now, you see the way we declared the calendar now. I know you are stopped sharing the screen, but you see the way we declared the calendar now. And after
Yes.
declaring, I went to a new cell block and I called my code. Now, what you declared in your first ones, yes, it ran because it declared the function. There was no error. And it didn't give you output unless you called the code. You have not called it. You did call it. For the second, for your code 8, I've seen from your screenshot from the cell code block 8, your grit, where you want to call your grit, you called it inside the DF. You're supposed to call it outside. Look at your indentation, correct it. Same for your code block 9. Correct your indentation on the grid when you were calling your function you declared. Watch your indentation. Is it still inside the DEF? That's why it's not working. So put it outside. It will work. That's why you see we created. I told you to create two different cell blocks. One is where he created this function, and second was where we called the function. All right.
Thank you.
All right. So do that, and your code will work. Then you sent another picture. What was the issue with that? Firstborn, what's the issue with the second picture you sent?
Okay, you said random has no attribute around it.
Okay. Please, Mr. Moses, can you scroll to the place where you did the random for them?
Okay, I will do that now. Okay. Okay, yeah, right.
You ran it,
That
ran it, ran it.
You
Okay,
ran
good,
it, ran it.
good. Now, what he did was import random, then print random dot run it, then it specified 1 to 10. Can you run it again? Let's see.
okay. Yeah,
But
I've
it's
done that.
working. So why was it yours working?
Hello, hello, sir. Can I
You're
say
saying
something about this?
it has no
Yeah,
attributes.
you can see. Okay, Mr.
Sir,
Kingsley, go ahead.
I think from his code, his round it is. I think it's not correct. There's a spelling error from what I'm saying. He round it. That maybe that's one of the reasons it did not run. He's having I instead of int.
Yes, so that's why I'm asking now to check her code very well. That's why I told Mr. Moses to scroll back to his code. So when you are spelling, check what you are spelling,
Yes,
because
it has been corrected.
so the round you are saying, round it, because it's like random number, integer, round int, random integer. That's what it's telling you to bring, not round it, random integer numbers. Is that clear? That's round int, not round it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
So
Send it.
okay, you're welcome. Any other questions from any other person we could practice with or share with the class? Oh, Mr. Andrew says we could use cal.calendar 2024 to work. Okay, let's try it. Mr. Moses, let's go
Yes,
to the calendar function. Let's try. You said cal.calendar 2024. Let's do that.
okay, I'm going there.
Yeah. So just create a new code block. Let's do it. No, you are creating it there. Scroll down to the bottom of your screen. No, the bottom of your screen. Yeah, so click on this cell. Click on the last cell block, the last one. Yeah, click on it. Then import new code. So it comes at the bottom. Good. So let's do cal.calendar 2024. Then in bracket 2024. So let's run it. Scroll up to go on so module calendar has no attribute calendar. Scroll up, go back to where you run the cal. No, did you use cal or calendar? What did you call?
I use
Scroll up.
import calendar as cal.
Okay, as cal.
So
Import calendar as cal. So you can see it's not working, Mr. Andrew. So when you are printing all these things, you need to be careful when you're calling them.
Hello.
We are with you.
Yeah.
Do you have
What
a
I did
correct one?
is, he imported calendar as cal.
Yes.
Then he nav underscore cal is equals to cal.calendar. So when you put 2024, you say print nav.cal, it will give you the complete year.
So can you say that again so that Mr. Moses will do it for
Import
everybody?
calendar.
Yes,
we've imported.
Please, sir.
Import
Good
calendar
evening.
as cal.
Good evening, sir.
Somebody was speaking. Can you allow him finish so that he will take the floor? Just allow somebody who was directing. Let him finish. Then we'll take you, Mr. Victor. Sorry.
Import calendar.
Yeah, we've imported it already.
Okay. Nav.
Now,
That is NOV, not nav. NOV underscore cal is equals to.
okay.
You can use any variable.
Yeah.
Then print. Not. Is it now? You use okay. You can use any variable. Okay.
You can use any variable. Doesn't matter.
Then print the variable.
You can still have the same issue.
I think the spelling of his calendar.
The spelling.
The calendar. It works.
The spelling of his calendar is wrong. He's writing DER instead of DAR,
Okay,
and I think the error.
sorry. Thank you. Thank you for noticing that.
Yes.
Thank you for noticing that. So I go to see DAR, please.
DER.
AR calendar now. DAR.
Okay.
Yeah, that you're spelling there's an error there. So run it again. Let's see.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew. So that's another way to get the calendars
It
for
was
whichever
Mr.
year you want.
Adebayo that said it.
Okay. Thank you very much. So Mr. Victor, you wanted to say something. The floor is yours now.
It was the spelling I wanted to correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. It's good. It's good to see that some persons are following. So I think we have our class captains and co-class captains for this cohort very soon. We'll be selecting you guys. Don't worry. I'm ahead on you people. I will get your full names on that group chat and then we'll do the needful. Okay, so I guess that's questions from everybody. So thanks for making the class lively. Please fill your attendance because the class is about to end. So I'm ending the recording now.